All right, let's open up with a prayer. All brothers remove the head coverings. All sisters pray with their heads covered. And we face the east towards Jerusalem, where our temple was and where our temple in Mashiach shall return. Abba Father, Yah, Elohim, Yah of Abraham, Yashak, and Yaakov. Covenant Father, Elohim of Yahshua, we thank you, Yah, once again for your mercy, Yah, for your patience with us, Yah, for your spirit, for your Holy Spirit, for your word, for your direction, for your life, for your path, for your Son. We thank you so much, Yah, for giving us a light and some light in this time of darkness as we come to the tail end of your prophecies, Yah, that you have promised us that you will do nothing in this earth before you tell your servants, the prophets, first. And you chose your prophets out of our nation, Yah, to warn us of the things to come and the consequences of us not being obedient unto your word, Yah. For you have given us an opportunity, mercy, Yah, to repent when you see fit for us to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And you chose our nation first to give that opportunity to seek unto salvation, Yah, and gave us the responsibility to teach our people and the rest of the world to be a light unto the Goyim, to the Gentiles, Yah, so that those that you sent to the Son would have servants to help them find their way, Yah. So we're thankful for your mercy. We're thankful, Yah, that despite our flaws, our failures of our ancestors, as well as ours and our children, that you have still tarried with us, that you have still left a remnant, Yah, that have the desire and the spirit to do your works and to seek your lost sheep, Yah, beyond their own lives, Yah. So we thank you for this honor, Yah. We thank you for your just being so patient and merciful with a sottish people. At their best, they are just filthy rags. And we're thankful for the sacrifice your Son made and giving all by serving you and keeping your commandments unto the end and showing us the end thereof, which is salvation and life after death, Yah. So we're thankful, Yah. So we ask humbly that you allow your angel that sits at the door to knock to come in and sup with us and us with him, so your name could be here on these grounds, giving us that Kodesh Mikra that you commanded us to keep, Yah. And despite all obstacles, all plagues, Yah, we ask for the strength to always provide a means for your people to come together, Yah, that are in proximity to keep your Shabbat, regardless of what man says, Yah. And we ask that you give us the ability and the spirit to do so, Yah, so that we can show the world where your true protection is. It's the covering of the Savior word of Yah that you spoke through your Son Mashiach, and not man, or not a leader, or not an Israelite, or not definitely not the government. So we thank you, Yah. So we ask that you give us the ability to produce our cause expediently, for your servants see that the fig leaves are turning ripe, Yah. These things we humbly come before you, and we thank and we pray through your holy, humble, anointed Son, Yahweh Shai, in which all praise, majesty, might, and dominion reside here forevermore. Through you, your majesty, through the name of Yahshua, Yahushua, Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, the Savior word of Yah, we pray through. Hallelujah. 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 Praise Yah. Hallelujah. You need me some water, please?
Was he doing something?
He's got some.
Mm-hmm.
Fill out that. All right, bear with us 1 second, brothers and sisters. We're trying to get the watch parties going. And today, for Shabbat, we're going to be dealing with a lot of the, like my Isha was saying earlier, all this they say about the coronavirus, they say about these state of emergencies and everything. And we're going to look at what the scriptures tell us and warn us about, but we're going to get to the root of all this they say. And Yah's will, after this Shabbat, we'll be able to no longer say they say. We're going to say the facts, the numbers show this. Now, we can only trust the numbers that only work on the best information we have. And that information is going to be more reliable than they said, or I saw it on a meme, or the news said. Well, the news is reporting information from somewhere else. So we're going to go to the source and try to make sure that we understand what the reality is and what the implications of where we are, just the facts. Once we have the facts, then we can grow from there and say, okay, here's the spirit, here's spiritually what we were warned about what's going to happen, and how should we react given this next situation happens. What is the proper way to deal with something? Let's be prepared. And if you have any questions regarding, this COVID-19, we can address that as well. So we're going to get started in just a few minutes. We're getting the watch parties together. And this is something you might want to take some notes. I'm going to post the notes that we took with all the links to the websites so that you can click on them yourself and you can get the up-to-date, the latest information and do the research on your own. Because we don't want to be depending on the government to keep us in a they say. Because that's how they like to keep us in a they say rather than the facts show. All right, so Shabbat Shalom. My name is YAH Yasharal with my brother Wesley Yasharal. Shabbat Shalom. And we are Savior Word of YAH Ministries. And our plot, the plague and the plot. And what we're going to do today, like we said earlier, is we're going to go into the facts on this coronavirus. This is going to be a little bit different than how we normally do Shabbat. Usually it's the straight scriptures. And very seldom do we go outside and look at, current affairs. We kind of talk about it, but we don't really go into the data. Today, we're going to actually look at the data. And we're going to pull the data from credible sites such as the CDC or the World Health Organization, the NBC, CNBC, media outlets that are, for the most part, going to have an obligation to report realistic data. But now, they have the authority to put that data out, but they also have the authority to decide how they want to present that information as to lead you into believing or fearing something. So we want to make sure we understand all the data, just like the scriptures. We want to know what the scriptures say so that I can place it where it needs to be, so I can understand the timeline and the importance. I don't want somebody just to tell me this is what's happening, this is where we're going, this is what we need to do. No, give me the data too, so the Holy Spirit can work through me as well, and I can figure out what needs to be done. So, before we get into the study, before we get into the study, we're going to go over some of these COVID facts. And we're going to kind of get an understanding of where we're at. And really, the only reason I'm even really going hard into this is because you cannot deny the fact that we're being affected by this right now. Everything is shut down. Everything is shutting down. And they're setting the stages for martial law. They're setting the stage for martial law. Once you have everybody afraid and locked in their house, now you can say martial law, and if anybody comes outside, nobody's going to see what happens to them. Everybody's going to be afraid, so when they say you need to go here or you need to go here, they're going to go there in search for the different vaccines or food or whatever the case they're about to give. So, Brother West, can you do me a favor? Can you put some of the frankincense, the real frankincense on the thing, and the myrrh? So, we have to understand that this is what's happening right now. This has never happened. What you're seeing right now happening as well is churches are canceling their meetings. Mm-hmm. The Catholic Church has put out a mandate that people need to stay home. The Catholic Church never shuts down. Never. So even the cat to take vaccine, he can take away food. He can give food. He could put martial law. He could put you in prison. He can do all those things without Congress. Just because it's a national emergency. And this makes giving him all authority. Now, Congress can come in and do this and do that, but what if Congress gets sick? Oh yeah, he got COVID-19, the one guy that's trying to vote against him, or all the people that's trying to vote against him, all these people got COVID-19. Quarantine them. Put them in jail. State of emergency. Now, the national state of emergency is one thing, but now we also have in the state of Georgia, as well as many other states like New York and Illinois, you got a state of emergency. You got a national emergency, and now you have a state of emergency. The state of Georgia has just announced their state of emergency. I'm going to post the links for that off the AJC. Governor Brian Kemp declared public health emergency this today and stated he'll use broad powers under the law to let the state deploy all available resources to help contain the spread of coronavirus. Now, just keep in mind, every contagious movie you've seen, how they do that. Now, those are movies, but the powers and ability to do those things are real, and it's written into law. All right? The decision gave Kemp new abilities to suspend laws and regulations. He can suspend state laws. He can take directional, operational control of civil forces. So he can not only deal with the government, he can take regular people and their forces, regular business, and mandate evacuations if he deems it necessary to cope with an outbreak. So they can kick you out of your house and go put you in a FEMA camp. You can say, no, I don't want to go to Walmart. I'm good. I got everything stockpiled here. No, we're taking all your stuff and we sending you over here with the rest of these people in this camp. Oh, we're going to send you to Milledgeville, Georgia, where they got all those coffins. Yep. They have the right to do that now. Now, again, am I saying they're going to do that? Very possibly. But right now, we're dealing with the facts. The facts is they can do that. They have the right to do that, and it's enforced right now, all off of 1.5% of people dying. The symptoms of coronavirus is a cold. A cold. 90-something% of people are going to heal naturally without getting anything. But this is unprecedented. Never have we ever seen them cancel all the NCAA stuff here in Georgia is canceled. The NBA canceled the whole season. You got the schools, the public schools closed down. The government buildings closed down. You already got all these Walmarts that are empty, that are being set up. And you got everybody at home and you want to see the presidents. Look what they're doing overseas. They got drones flying around. So this is the reality. So if it can happen over there, you telling me it can't happen here? Because we just such a free country? How coincidental this is right around election time. So if you got an emergency, they can now suspend elections. Elections can now be suspended. They talking about voting by ballots. You send in a million ballots. If you remember what happened in Florida, I was in college when this happened in Florida. They had a whole bus of votes disappear. So that's neither here nor there because we don't vote a president. The president is selected. The Electoral College puts them in, and there's no congressional law or constitutional law that says they got to vote according to the way we vote. So that's neither here nor there. But these are the effects. Again, the coronavirus is a real virus. The effects of it are not as much as what they're blowing it up to be. But it has caused this situation that we're in right now, and that's what we need to address. Where we are right now, what they have put into place, what do we expect to come next? We can use precedents. I always teach with precedents. When I'm in the scripture, I teach with precedents. What happened prior in the scripture and a similar prior, but what's happening right now in other places that are developed like we are. So what you have now also is where we've been telling folks, it's time to go. Get prepared to leave. But guess what they just popped up on us now? It's from 26 Schengen countries. Austria, Belgium, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. You're banned. You cannot travel there. And if you're an American citizen over there, you can't come back unless you got some real money or power. So now you can't even leave. You can't even leave. And if you're over there or you're over abroad going to school or you're on spring break, you're stuck there. And their places are locked down even worse than the U.S. Now, keep in mind, there was already a travel ban, a political travel ban involving Africa. All these African countries involving Kyrgyzstan and some of these other countries that were not on this list already.
No, I heard that Africa is banned also on
Europe. So this is what's going on, all because of this coronavirus. Now again, man controlling things. Man is what is it causing? Where are we at? That's what's important. So these are the facts. We got to understand the facts of what's going on. And if you're coming on late to this, understand that 1.5% of the sickest of the sick people who are tested positive for COVID have died from this. One person out of 66 people in the whole state of Georgia have died from this. We're going to go back to the national numbers again. The national numbers are slightly higher, 2.5% in the entire nation. 2.5% in the entire nation. That's 1,629 people have tested positive for the COVID-19, which are the sickest of the sick people. People with lung disease, lung cancer, heart disease, diabetes, already sick, tested positive. 1,629, only 41 died. That's 2.5%. 2.5%. More people died from the flu than this. Now, what they're not telling you is the people aren't dying from coronavirus. The people are dying from SARS and MERS, which are Middle Eastern lung problem issues, diseases. And those have high rate deaths. Very, very high rate. I think MERS is the highest one. It was like, 75% of the people died. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'll pull that up and I'll post that as well. That's what they're dying from. So think about this strategically. The government can't say, oh, MERS is hurting people. SARS is hurting people because they did that and nobody cared. Whatever. Because how many people going to test positive for that? Rarely anybody. The 90-something percentile is not going to test positive for MERS or SARS. But if you want a pandemic, if you want a national emergency, then you have to say, I'm going to test people for the common freaking cold. How many people are going to test positive for symptoms of a common cold? Then we get them COVID-19. Now we found out of all the people we're going to test, 2.5% of those people die. But yet you have unprecedented stuff that we have never seen. We've never seen this. I'm 41 years old and I've never seen this ever in the history. So there's more going on about this. This economy is dying and they're trying to enact martial law. They're trying to do a currency reset and they're trying to control population. Now, how they're going to do that, we can only speculate. So we're going to get into the scriptures and we're going to see what's going on here. So that we don't have the wool pulled over our eyes. And keep in mind, for those of us that are using an ancient calendar, that are using the Ichio, which determines when you have your new year, when the daytime springs a little bit longer than the nighttime, for the first time coming out of winter. That's spring. How convenient, we just had spring begin Tuesday night. But the Saturday night, which is the beginning of the week, showing you know the government knows the beginning of the week. That's why they did daylight savings on Saturday night. Because Saturday night starts what? First day. So they know when the first day of the week. Why they didn't start it Sunday night? So that you can have Monday the first day of the week. Now they know when the week starts. And why would they do, just like they did in winter, they did it in the spring. They do daylight savings when our season starts. Not when their season starts. Why they didn't do it on the equinox? Because that's the beginning of the season, right? So why would you not do daylight savings at the equinox? Nah, if you're saying I want to save as much daylight as possible, you're going to do it on the day that daylight starts to be longer. They know, but they said, nah, we're going to start at the beginning of the week because we don't want to start in the middle of a week. That'd be too accurate. That would be showing them the exact time. Now they got to be off a little bit. How much they going to be off? 3 days off. Interesting. So these are the facts. 14 days from Tuesday is Passover. So right around the time of Passover or Pesach, guarantee us for 14 days. And you're going to have to choose between keeping your Pesach, keeping unleavened bread, cleaning your house. And how convenient. Everybody cleaning now because of this virus. So folk go maybe clean the leaven out their house. But you're going to have to choose between keeping YAH's laws or being fearful. It's no coincidence that this is happening right now. It's no coincidence that we have 400 years. And when the 400 year ends, the next Hebrew year is in 2020. 20 times 20 is what? 400. It's no coincidence. People are paying attention now because we've been warning and talking about this, but it's not real to you until you can see the things happen in the real world that affect you. So it don't make us special. It just means we present with the shock testing. So let's get into scripts. We're going to first open up in Psalms 83 because people say, oh, look, the whole world it's a world state of, it's a world national emergency, a world health emergency, right? So the whole world is in on this. The whole world, the government system all knows. You think the government don't have the stats that we have? They're giving us the stats. But they all on one consent to do this global economy, do this global martial law, do this one nation against nation, and have the authority to kill, steal, devour, knock down, trap, imprison whoever they feel like because of the fear of the people. So we're going to open up.
Yep, we just, like you said earlier, it's shock testing.
Look at the prices. Gasoline, a flight to New York is like $30. $30. Gas prices have gone so low. But why are you going to fly somewhere when you're scared you're going to be trapped there because you know they're going to start shutting us down? Yep, so if you fly somewhere, you're going to be stuck. So yeah, you taking cheap flights if you ain't got no family, but if you got a family, no, if you flying out, you going places, you might get stuck. So are you willing to get stuck there? You might have family there. That may be where you need ministry. But just understand you might get stuck there.
If I could I bring out
Chapter 3, right?
yeah.
All right, so my brother wants to, before we open up with scripture, he's got a few things that the Spirit has offered him to present. So we're going to go to Amos chapter 3, and we're going to look at something.
Amos chapter 3 and verse 4 is where I started. It says, will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he hath taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gin is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and Yahweh has not done it?
Mm-hmm.
So, from my understanding, is that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding is, from these verses we understand that no matter what's going on or what type of calamity is happening in the earth, that Yah is ultimately in control of it.
Absolutely. And that's the scriptures is verifying that. Another witness to that. And if you look at that word for done it, it's the Hebrew word asah. Asah, which is to make. So Yah made this stuff. He made this. It didn't necessarily say that Yah made this and pushed it on us. Yah made this, and he has his angels to do what needs to be done. And he will either allow it, just like what he said. Who will convince Ahab to go against what was the other one? Yehu. Who will convince Ahab to do? And the spirit said, "Oh, I'll do it. And he said, "How you gonna do that?" He said, "I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets." And Yah said, "And you will succeed." Yah didn't say, "Hey, you liar, come here. Go lie to these people." Mm-hmm. But he's got vessels of honor and dishonor for his purpose, for his glory. So you just verified it with that scripture, Amos chapter 3.
And the other scripture I wanted to just mention is Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 13.
All right. Yeshayahu chapter 8. And we're going to go to verse 13.
And it says, sanctify Yahweh of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread.
So what should our fear right now be? Should it be COVID ID 19?
Nope.
So it should be Yah. So what are we fearing? Because we're not supposed to fear COVID ID. We're not supposed to fear the government. We're not supposed to fear the economy. What are we fearing? We're fearing Yah. But what are we fearing from Yah? Salvation. We're fearing losing our salvation. You can lose your salvation. We fear is simple to us after telling us everything before it happened.
Being judged at the borders.
Being judged, being brought out of the country, making it out of your captivity. Praise Yah, sis, for that. Just to be judged at the border and not get to enter into your master's house. That's what we're fearing. Now, if that's your fear, you're going to keep Passover. You're not fearing COVID ID 19. Imagine if the children of Israel was afraid of the plagues that was coming down to Egypt, and y'all couldn't show, look at all my people, they straight. All my people good. Look, all my people in the light, but they afraid. What imagine if everybody was coming to Israel and they to Egypt, and they all fled Egypt? Then how would we know, wait a minute, all the children of Israel got light, all the people over here in dark? How would you know that we're going to walk through the Red Sea if Pharaoh's men came, the Red Sea's coming, and we say, all right, Pharaoh, we going back. Here you go. You got us, G. You got us. Yo, Mizzy, you got us, Mizzy. We ain't tripping, Mizzy. You got it. You got it, G. You got the juice. And we go walk back with Mizraim and get slaughtered. Yeah, purposely, he could have walked us anywhere. He walked us to the Red Sea to say, stand still and watch the salvation of Yah, the Savior word of Yah. Watch him deliver you. Who is the vessel for that? He's not doing that through the Gentiles. He's doing that through you. You're going to be the vessel. But we have to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, harmless as a lamb. We got to be wise of what they're doing, but be harmless. We're not trying to harm nobody. We're not telling people go out there, because he said to Yahshua as well. Yahshua said, look, Yah said, don't test him. I'm not finna go take no flight to Wuhan so I can get some Jordans cheap. I'm not finna do that, bro. You coughing, bro? Hey, over there, bro. Yah is still a God of order. It still has germs and spread. He still got all those things. But if I got to choose, man, these people over here coughing, but they need to get immersed.
You and Brother West going to have to do it.
West is going to dunk them. I'm going to be on the outside. Do you accept? No, I'm praying. We going to do the work. This ain't no different. That's what a real servant do. You can't just be sitting up here talking, faith. Believe. You're gonna be bit by snakes and nothing bothered you. We get bit by snakes right now. Because snakes is coming out here with their forked tongue, biting us with that false doctrine, with that fear mongering, scaring the sheep. So when that wolf scares the sheep, where the shepherd at? You can't. You got to be there with that rod. The rod is this word. Nah, those are lies. Turns out, that was a lie. That's what you got to be. Anything else you wanted to add to that, brother?
Oh, no, that was it.
Hallelujah. If anybody else has anything else, put it on there. Let us know. This is for everybody. This is not just for us. So let's go to Tehillim chapter 83. Psalms chapter 83, because again, it's not just America, the whole world, except for Africa. Africa, like, look, we good. But even Africa taking part. They couldn't wait to tell these Europeans, these colonizers, sorry, bro, can't come in here. But guess what? Who's really running Africa right now? Chinese, China, and Europe. So guess what? They still gonna get their money. They still coming in and out. But it's the point. Just like in South Africa right now, where they got the Europeans can't even get jobs. They living together. That's a preview of what's to come. All right, so we're in Psalms. It's not going to be your skin color, even though they say, oh, black people don't get it. Yeah, that's well and nice. But guess what? If you trapped in your house, it don't matter if you got COVID-19 or not. If you can't get toilet paper because they shock tested us, and you getting disease because you unclean, it don't matter if you black or white. And guess what? You could not ever touch any of this and be straight. Who's going to protect you? Y'all got to protect you. And y'all going to protect not a skin color, not a nationality. He's going to protect his believers and those that he's going to have mercy on. So don't get it twisted. This ain't no black power thing. This is believers and non-believers. And that ain't got no color line.
Yeah. It's on the Black Lives Matter movement.
Tehillim chapter 83, and we're going to start this at verse 1.
Keep not you silence, O Elohim. Hold not your peace, and be not still, O El. For lo, your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have lifted up the head.
Can you close that door, please?
They have taken crafty counsel against your people, and consulted against your hidden ones.
All right, so they have taken crafty counsel. So they're using subtlety. What crafty means is when you're doing something underhandedly, secretly, behind the scenes. You're using forked tongue. So this is what they're taking right now. Crafty counsel. They're doing all of this for the children of Israel. It's to control the world, but all of this is for the children of Israel, for the power, for the jewels of God. That's the real value. All right? So Psalms 83 says crafty counsel. So what is counsel? So if you look at counsel, so again, crafty is aram, which is bear the idea perhaps of smoothness, to be cunning, to take craftiness, prudent, subtlety, right? Now, counsel is Saudi. Interesting, like Saudi Arabia. Esau, Saudi, right? A session that is company or persons. Company or persons, by implication, intimacy, consultation, a secret assembly. inward counsel. So that is the definition of Saudi, which is H5475. So they're coming together behind the scenes to do wickedness. Go ahead. What is their goal? What are they trying to do? Because I just told you this is about the children of Israel. All of this is about the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut off them from being a nation, that the name of Yasharal may be no more in remembrance.
So let's cut them off from being a nation. They want to cut off the bloodline. They're trying to cut the kingdom. So cutting off from a nation is, oh, let me cut them off from keeping their Passover. So that the plagues can take them. So the destroying angel can take them. So they're not covered under the blood. So they're just like us. Not covered. And he's not talking to just the carnal Israel. He's also talking to the Goyim that's going to cleave on to the house of Israel. All of those believers. Let me cut them off from becoming a nation. Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you.
Okay? They are confederate against you. They are making a federation of people against you. The problem is, we don't know that they're against us. We know America's killing us, but we don't think the whole world. We think, yeah, black people get treated bad, but the whole world is in consent. They're all with the same lie. They're all on TV making you scared to death over something that you got a upper 90% chance that you ain't going to die from. You got a better chance of getting struck by lightning.
Or winning the lottery.
You got a better chance of winning the lottery in China than you do of dying from this thing. Not to say that this is not something to be concerned about. If there's a flu out here and people dying from it, I'm washing my hands regardless. Because I know there's colds out here. I don't want to catch a cold, man. I don't get my kids already germ factories. I'm not trying to be one.
If I could say something, when you look at it and you look at all the ramifications and the effects of this, that this disease is, that this pandemic is going to have, it's going to disproportionately affect those who are African American. Because when you think about it, we don't really own anything. We don't own any land.
Nope.
And we're the ones who's mostly living in the inner city. You know what I'm saying?
Living check to check.
Right. And so we're the ones who are more so dependent overall. But when you look at that, it kind of ties into the fact that they've taken one consent because they know how, the effect this is going to have. Just like when you look at Katrina, for instance, when that happened, who did it affect the most? It affected African Americans.
Absolutely. And when you have state of emergency and you got the police aren't really the police anymore. It's about the military, the police. Now all of a sudden you got hits. Now you got people dying on the bridges, getting shot to death. There's no control. So we've seen the precedence of what happens. You see people, and one man got stabbed with a bottle in Hiram, Georgia. Here, stabbed with a wine bottle over a last case of water at a Walmart. It's getting real. And it ain't even real yet. But this is how people acting now. This is how we act with Black Friday. What happens, you think, when they say this thing is caused by the water? But guess what? It's airborne. It's caused in the air. How you gonna hide from the air? You gonna walk around with a gas mask everywhere?
I heard there was a guy that got infected. I think it was in China. I don't remember when, but he was on a bus. He got infected by a dude that was sitting rows back, I think. So you can get infected from like as close as 15 meters, I think.
It's air. And how long does this stuff last? They're saying that when it hits a hard surface like a glass or a table, wood, it can last up to 3 days, which is extremely long for a day. So, but again, the virus symptoms, common cold. So if you're going to make it bigger than what it is, then all you got to do is focus on something that a lot of people can get easily. And now I can enact the laws that I want to enact. So let's go to Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to start at verse 58. We want to look at precedents. We're going to see how YAH deal with these plagues and with these curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28.
If I can I bring out another scripture? Since we're in Psalms, I was reminded. Actually, it was Sister Evie who reminded me of this chapter recently. So shout out to Sister Evie. With Psalms 103, and in verse, and all that is within me, bless His holy name. Bless Yahweh, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits. Who forgives all your iniquities and who heals all your diseases. So that's something to keep in mind, just going forth. That kind of harpens down on the fact that Yah is still in control of it.
Absolutely. COVID-19 is a disease. Coronavirus is a virus. COVID-19 is a virus of the coronavirus's family, which is a disease. And this disease causes lung complications such as MERS and SARS. MERS and SARS is what's killing people. It's no different than what HIV, which brought on AIDS disease, which brought on death from pneumonia or high blood pressure or kidney or whatever, because they're exposed to something that in a weakened immune system. So COVID-19, the difference between HIV and COVID-19 is HIV will take a normal, strong, healthy person and weaken them like that. COVID-19 is going to only affect a really weak person that has something like that already. So there's a difference. So they're not really giving you that. So we're at Deuteronomy chapter 28. We're going to start this at verse 58.
If you will not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that you may fear this glorious and fearful name, Yahweh your Elohim, then Yahweh will make your plagues wonderful, and the plagues of your seed even great plagues, and of a long continuance, and sore sickness, and of a long continuance.
All right. So then Yah will make your plagues wonderful, and the plagues of your seed. We are the seed. Even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. If we do not observe to do the words of the law that are written in this book, this don't have an expiration period. So if you want to protect yourself from COVID-19, keep Yah's law. And His law is righteousness. And how do you know what righteousness is? You look at the commandments as your baseline and you apply them. Go ahead, sis. 28 and 58. Go ahead, Al.
You know, looking at when it says glorious and fearful, I like that just looking at it, it shows you the duality of Yah, that you can fall on either side of depending on how you keep the covenant and how you keep His commandments.
The goodness and the severity.
Right.
Hallelujah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 60. Moreover, He will bring upon you all the diseases of Mizraim, which you were afraid of, and they shall cleave unto you.
Okay, so here's the warning. I'm going to bring you all the diseases of Mizraim, of the house of bondage. What's now? For many of Yehuda here in the United States. That's the house of bondage, because this is the major warehouse of the children of Yahshua, the bondage that has the. And how do you know that? Because they're the superpower. Wherever the superpower is that has the children of Israel are right there. That's where the majority of them are. Go ahead.
Also, every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahweh bring upon you until you be destroyed.
I ain't see coronavirus in here. So this is a disease and a plague that's not written in the book. Because the plagues that are written in the book are the other specific things. But this is something different. It's talking about, man, you ain't going to be able to breathe. That's a different plague. That's a different virus. It talks about all the plagues and diseases of Egypt and some other things you don't know about, like AIDS. This, high blood pressure, diabetes. That's going to be long continuous. How long has diabetes and high blood pressure been messing us up? Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught, and you shall be plucked from off the land whether you go to possess it. And Yahweh shall scatter you among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither your fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Our fathers ain't known no Jesus. We ain't know that. That wasn't until the 15th century when the letter J was created. We didn't know no YAH Zeus either, because it was forbidden for us to even say the name of another God. And then here it says, I will scatter you among all people. So that's letting you know that 12 tribes chart of wherever all Israel is BS. It just said we're going to scatter you from one end of the earth to the other amongst all people. So how are you going to make a 12 tribes chart and you're not going to have everybody on there? And just Judah alone, it says spread to the four corners of the earth, dispersed. Just Judah by himself. It didn't even talk about the other tribes in that regard. So you know that's false. Go ahead.
65. And among these nations shall you find no ease, neither shall the sole of your foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give you there a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
So this is the punishment for not keeping the commandments. You are going to have a no ease, a trembling heart, and failing of eyes. The failing of your eyes means you can't see beyond the fear. So you can't see, you're not listening. You can't hear the facts that we're trying to give. You can't see looking up what they're trying to tell us. You can't see that because you're trembling with fear. That is the indication that you're not keeping the commandments, that you're not being covered by YAH. Because you just, I don't want to do, I'm just going to let fear. There is no fear in perfect love. You got to love YAH with all your heart, all your mind, all your spirit, all your strength. You can't do that with a fearful mind. It didn't mean don't be precautious. Didn't say that. Even Yahshua said, are there not 12 hours in a day? Walk out in the day where you can see, where there's no stumbling. Walk in the light. Walk in this word. Let him be your fear and your dread, just like you brought up in Yeshua. Go ahead.
Verse 66. And your life shall hang in doubt before you, and you shall fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of your life.
If you're in fear day and night, how are you going to have the strength to get up and go walk into territories, to go say what you need to say, to do what you need to do, to be where you need to be when YAH says, nah, there's a lion outside. Oh, there's a lion inside. It's in the city. The lion is in the country. You're going to be afraid of everything. You can't serve YAH in fear. Because you're saying, my boss does not have the ability to protect me.
Right.
But if they say, no, you can come to work, we got armed guards, they're going to ride, they're going to make sure you're all right, we're going to put hazmat suits on you. You're going to trust that white man and go get that check.
See? We trust the white man, war. We trust him.
Just like you trust him right now while he's telling you you need to stay indoors.
Right.
Right. To the conspiracy theory, but I'm not going to go that deep on Shabbat into that. But why everybody got LED bulbs? They got all kinds of stuff. Second Esdras, and that's in the Apocrypha. If you do not have the Apocrypha, of course, you can go to IsraeliteGathering.com and you can see these second Esdras. I'm going to be ready to Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to send plagues that were not before. Coronavirus wasn't before. We didn't read about Egypt getting no coronavirus. AIDS was not before. We didn't read about that. But he said, I'm also going to send the plagues of Egypt. I'm going to bring those plagues of Egypt. So now we're going to see it in the prophecy form. Esdras.
Oh, speak you in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in your mouth, says YAH, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against you, let not the incredulity of them trouble you that speak against you.
Fear not. You have all these countries all saying the same thing, but yet they're looking at the same data we're looking at. Why are they not providing us with data that's supposed to scare us? That's real data.
And their unfaithfulness.
That's the people that are going to die. The source of the problem, the judgment on this country, the unfaithful children, they're going to be brought out to be killed at the border. But no, your fear is in what CNN is telling you. what Donald Trump telling you. And what did Donald Trump say? See, the snake speaking forked tongue, he telling you all this stuff. But he said, oh, talking to you, think he talking to us? He talking to the, he telling them, just like he said in his tweets, where is the anchor system? So if we crash, they have to set a new currency. The dollar means nothing. So there's going to be a new standard. And when that new standard happens, this new standard, did you take the mark?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Behold, says Yah, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
So he's going to bring plague, cold, destruction. These are plagues. Why? The food they eat is deadly. You got the black horse riding in, which comes with the pestilence. Because that pestilence is from death and destruction. Go ahead.
For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Hold my tongue no more as to those things, just complain continually.
That sounds a lot like Egypt. When he said, I've heard your cry of how they are murdering your firstborns, your babies. They're doing the same thing to us now, trying to turn our sons into faggots. They murdering our firstborn, having men dressed up like women, wearing dresses.
Sounds like the flow too.
Go ahead, Doc.
And therefore, says Yah, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
So that means we go out there and we're going to kill the government. We're going to go out there and we're going to kill white people or anybody that came against us. Is that what that means?
No.
Because it says what? How you know it don't mean that? Because it says, I will surely avenge them. Y'all going to do that. He going to use his method. Now, if you come against us, yeah, you will die. That's in the scripture. Curses those who curse Israel. But we're not going out to try to fight. We're not storming nowhere. We're trying to get them out of here. And we're trying to save as many people, whether you Jew or Gentile or not, that want to serve the Most High in righteousness.
Not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Mitzrayim.
I'm getting them out of here.
But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm.
And we just read that. I'm going to bring you back the plagues of Egypt. Now it says, I will smite Egypt, the house of bondage, with plagues as before, and will destroy where? All the land thereof. All. They was doing like that video. What's that video?
Oh, black.
I'm black, I'm black, 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 I'm black, I'm black, I'm black, black. That's what Israel was doing. Israel was like, we Israel. We chilling. You know we was dancing. Nope. I'm not even gonna put my Jordan on that side. You know, you talking about the Jordan River.
Sister LaRonda, I don't know if she said, how are we leaving? Does the scripture say how? Can you remember we went back to
Okay. The scripture says several things. Shalom says to shalom to your ish, brother Marshall. Try to drown us, and then you have a mighty arm and a stretched out hand. So that's how we're going to get out of here. It just says that everybody is going to get out of here, and there's going to be waves. But Amos chapter, it's chapter 4, right? Amos chapter 4, his people have already successfully, that's the house of Judah, right there. They have gone already established land there. So they went first, and he said, so that the house of David does not magnify himself against Judah. So they have went already there. But Judah, they are going to set things up. And when they set things up, everybody who's coming, you got some people that's going to come on the shoulders of Gentiles. They say, look, we got your sons, we brought them from afar. So it's different. There's no specific way. And again, he's doing about a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, which means that we gonna all hop on a jet plane and everybody follow me like Jim Jones and drink the purple Kool-Aid. Nah, it don't work that way. If you're able to get out of here and the spirit moves you, it hits so high that they crash and you ain't gonna have gas to go nowhere. All right, so we're at 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, and what verse?
Verse 12.
All right.
Mitzrayim shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Elohim shall bring upon it.
The punishment. He's talking certificate, and I'm going to go to the nearest gold shop, and they're going to give me my gold. Bruh, they companies finna crash. When they companies crash, who you think will get the emergency funds? You and your $5,000 of gold, or the rich white man with $10 million?
Yeah.
You ain't seen your stuff. And furthermore, just say you stockpiled a bunch of gold in your house. What you think finna happen?
Finna get robbed.
They finna come and kick your doors down when they do a welfare check. Hey, everybody corona free in here? Oh, that's a nice goal. Yeah, run that. It's gone.
I actually got a verse that was related to that. Ezekiel 7 and 19 says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity.
We are now where your money is the stability of your time. That is ending. Was crazy. I was wondering, there is a web that asked for a starting price of $5,000. Wow, I didn't even know that. That's
no,
the
you
spirit.
can. Yeah.
I just thought it was ridiculous that they're even asking you to take out some of your 401k if you don't have the funds. That's ridiculous. Man, they trying to make us poor. The new currency is the wisdom. The wisdom says, hey, don't go there. Don't go in that thing. Don't take that vaccine, bro. Look, I can't quote everybody's going that way. Hey, look here. I only showed up for one Shabbat, but that one Shabbat taught me not to. Wide is the path to destruction. Now that brother looked like he got some fringes swinging. He walking. He's strutting down the street like he all confident doing the K Wayne with it. K Wayne with it.
Black,
you know, so
black.
he blackity black, and his head covered, and he looked confident. And they got a bunch of guns.
They walking around with staffs.
That right there, that's probably the dude that I want to go with, because they don't look like they going to the pork line, because that's what they give out in these natural disasters. They give you a can of pork that's this big. It's a silver can. How do I know? Because I was in Hurricane Andrew when everything was shut down. Everything was shut down, and the government come up with that, and they give you all that unclean food. Here you go. All right. So where are we at? Okay, we at Psalms.
Psalms 105 and verse 26.
All right.
He sent Moshe his servant and Aaron whom he had chosen. They showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. He sent darkness and made it dark, and they rebelled not against his word.
All right, so here we go. We're getting into these plagues. All right. So it's not in order in the Psalms, but we're going to count all these plagues. Darkness. All right.
He turned their waters into blood.
Waters into blood.
And slew their fish. Their land brought forth frogs in abundance in the chambers of their kings. He spake, and there came diverse sorts of flies and lice.
Flies and lice, gnats. Okay, that's 6.
He gave them hail for rain.
That's 7.
And flaming fire in their land.
That's the thunderbolts. That's 8.
He smote their vines also and their fig trees, and that without number.
There go the locusts. That's 9 plagues right there. That's 9 plagues. If you want to read those 9 plagues, that's Exodus 7, Exodus 8, Exodus 9, all the way to Exodus 12 for the last plague, which we're about to cover. Go ahead.
And did eat up all the herbs in their land and devoured the fruit of their ground.
So there's going to be, again, the firstborns being killed off. He said, I'm bringing back the plagues of Egypt. That's 10 plagues. Go ahead.
He brought them forth also with silver and gold, and there was not one feeble person among their tribes.
So we will come out of here with great substance, silver and gold. So look, we ain't got to stockpile silver and gold. Why? They gonna be casting me silver and gold on the street. Here, bro. You just take me. I mean, no new people came from overseas that had that. They went to jail and gave it to other inmates.
No,
somebody sneezing in a 8x10 box, or what are you telling me they ain't going around? The guard ain't gone to the Walmart or gone to the Publix to buy some water. You telling me? But they ain't talking about.
They ain't gonna shut that down.
They ain't talking about, oh, we tested a homeless guy walking around and getting change from everybody. They ain't talking about that. Right. But it's such a danger. You know why? There's homeless people out there in the cold and the rain. It's 20 degrees out. Plus they saying strong liquor kills the coronavirus. So you know he killing that virus. We're going to do that. We're going to go back and we're going to go over the statistics again for people who might have met it. And what I'm going to also do is I'm going to find a way to post the links to all the sites that we're pulling this information on.
I posted a few.
So COVID-19, COVID-19 is a disease. It is a disease that is of the coronavirus family, which in extreme cases causes SARS or MERS, which are lung type things. Pretty interesting. They said vaping caused that stuff too. So vaping can cause that. Not cigarette, tobacco smoking don't cause that. You know, that's perfectly fine. Nicotine kills it, obviously. So, how interesting. They're trying to find out, oh, we thought so many people were smoking these things, but they like, man, look, this ain't addictive like cigarettes. I'm good. And you're paid. Let me get those wraps. What? Let me get some papers. You still burning something. But the health consciousness of people right now are not doing, say, to find a new way. Oh, but everybody get a cold. Everybody cough. How many times people cough in this room right now? You're going to sneeze. You're going to cough. So it's causing pandemonium. And then now, oh yeah, this is the thing that had me cracking up. I know that COVID-19 is real because Tom Hanks got it. I don't even have it because he's running around rubbing people's heads, laughing like, bro, you know I ain't got that yet. So, listen, I'm going to give you some of this millions too.
It's a celebrity disease now, huh?
Bro, this shit is sad. Then they got, I think I just cussed. Anyway, it's sad. See, I'm conscious of what I say. It's sad how they got things because they're using celebrity just like they did with the ALS. Oh, I'm doing the ice bucket challenge. Bro, when the last time you seen a brother with ALS, man?
Well, how they did Magic Johnson.
Come on, bro.
He put him
you
all in the front of
You get a
HIV.
celebrity spokesperson. Yeah, it's me, Magic. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still smashing, but I got HIV. But I'm cool though. You know, listen. Yeah, you put on a rubber, bro. You good. Stop being gay. You good. Trust me. You'll be all right. Look at me. I got it. Come on, they getting all. But this man outliving people that's healthy. This man outlived Kobe Bryant, bro. Stop it. Stop. So let's go over the statistics. And this is from the CDC.gov. The total cases, and this was as of before we started the class, was at least 1631. But at the time I took this, it was 1629, total of 41 deaths, and this is the entire U.S. So if you want to get the statistic, for all you mathematic people that are mathematically inclined, like as myself, this is how you, not mathematically inclined, excuse me, I'm not a mathematic person, but how you get the percentage is so you would put 41 divided by 1629, 1,629. And that's going to give you the percentage. A percentage is per 100. That's what the decimal is. Decimal is point of a tenth. So you get 0.0025. You move that decimal over 2 places for 100, because that's 100 is percent per 100. That gives you about 2.5% of the people who got tested positive for coronavirus had died in the entire country. 2.5. That means you got, if you happen to test positive, you got a 97.5% chance that you're not going to even have serious symptoms, much less death. All right? That's the stats. They're not telling you that. They're just saying another person died from coronavirus. Really? How much is the death toll? Is 41. How many people got it? 1629. Well, that means only 2.5% people died from it. So what are you worried about? Well, you know, state of emergency, we're going to put up a lot of money. 2.5%. All right? So now let's look at the high-risk people. Because the high-risk people are the people who got coronavirus, not the average person. They went and tested the sickest of the sick people. That means people are already in the hospital, dying of something. Already in the hospital, sick, high risk to anything, much less coronavirus. Older adults and people who have serious chronic medical conditions. If you got a serious chronic medical condition, man, you can't even cut the AC too high, bro. You're gonna die. Heart disease, bro, you already dying. Diabetes, bro, you already weakened. You have to take medication every day or you die. Lung disease, you can't barely breathe to begin with. Of course, you light incense, he's sick. He got lung disease. These are the people that got coronavirus, according to the stats that they have right now. Now, things change. I can only report what we have right now. Here are the symptoms of the average person that gets coronavirus. And symptoms may appear within 2 to 14 days after exposure. Oh, what a broad cycle. 2 days to 2 weeks. Come on, bro. Fever, cough, shortness of breath. Look, I know some people, when they walk up the stairs, they shortness of breath. I know some people, they walk to their mailbox, they shortness of breath. I think I have the coronavirus. Biggie was had shortness of his breath. Come on now. Fever and cough. Bro, who hasn't coughed? But see, if you thinking I coughed, I sneezed, I got coronavirus. That's how people think. Why? Because you gonna be the 2.5%. How you know people think like that? How many people play the lotto? Well, I'm gonna be the 0.001% guy that wins 50 billion. I'm quitting my job. Come on, bro. It's not gonna happen, bro. You got a better chance of winning the lotto. Literally. You got a better chance of hitting Mega Millions, which I think is like 250 million right now, or something high like that. Play that since you like gambling. You got a better chance. Statistically. Fever. If you ain't got no fever, you probably don't have coronavirus. Gee, you're all right. You ain't got no fever. You coughed. You're okay. You don't have a fever. A fever lets you know you got a sickness, a real sickness, whether it be coronavirus or not. But even if you do have a fever, these are the emergency warning sign symptoms. All right? This is when you should go to the hospital. Difficulty breathing or shortness of breath. If you can't breathe or you have shortness of breath, that's either you got a blood pressure problem, your heart ain't pumping blood properly, or you're not getting oxygen. That's an emergency regardless of whether you got COVID or not. If you needed to know about coronavirus to go to the hospital because you can't breathe, Elder Zohar months ago couldn't breathe because he got kidney problems. Persistent pain or pressure in the chest. Bro, who don't have a heart attack? Persistent pain or pressure in the chest. If you got that, you going to the hospital to get checked out for a heart attack. But guess what? They can come out and say you had coronavirus. How you gonna know the difference? Right. New confusion or inability to arouse. You just confused. You know how many people walk around here confused, bro? Majority of my people walk around here confused. Bluish lips or face.
You died.
Hey, bro, am I all right? My face is blue, but I don't have no fever though. Nah, you good, bro. You ain't cough? You ain't been, but you been in the house for 2 weeks though, right? Oh, you good, G. You all right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, you ain't got no light lately, so you just kind of light skinned. You can't get blue without black. So technically. Stop it, bro. Be informed. Look at the facts. Now, listen, we laughing, but it's not a laughing matter because coronavirus ain't really, we obviously not fearing coronavirus. But we want to let people know the facts so we can stop what they say. They say. Let's stop what they say and let's say, look, the facts say this. So I need to keep myself clean like I do anyways. But this is where we are now. Now the cause. Because of all this pandemonium, we are now in a national emergency. Trump declared a national emergency, which means he can do martial law at any given time. He can redistribute anything he wants. He can come to this house and say, y'all don't keep the Shabbat here no more. We're going to make it a center for Lithuania. Everybody in Lithuania going to come here and get some one piece of pork, canned pork. He can do whatever he wants. I can't say a thing. But this is my... No, I'm sorry. Talk to me if it wasn't a national emergency. He can legally do it. They could do it before that, but they can legally do it now. All right? He just added an additional up to 50 billion in funding for disaster relief. If you got $50 billion for coronavirus, how the hell we have such a big deficit? Why you ain't pay your bill? But you want to give me bad credit because I want to pay Comcast late. Stop it. It's hypocrisy. And you have 50 billion, but that's nothing. That's just, here's 50 cents. You know why? Because the economy was failing so horrible, he injected $1.5 trillion. 1.5 trillion. Man, I don't even know how many zeros that is, bro. 1.5 trillion. He said, hey, listen, the white people just lost a lot of money. Don't worry, G, I got you. You know you had a friend in the White House. Here's 1.5 trillion. Y'all take care of yourselves. But you Democrats are socialists. Because you're a socialist if you take money and help poor people. But if you take money and help rich people, you helping the economy. Oh yeah, by the way, vote for Trump. Vote for Bernie Sanders. Vote for somebody. It's election year. Straight confusion. How you have President Obama trying to back Bernie Sanders? You didn't back your own vice president? Confusion. It's all confusion. Because of this travel ban. For 30 days, the next month, 22 European Union members, 4 non-European Union members, and 26 Schengen countries, which I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm going to read the countries, are now banned from entering the U.S. That's banning a lot of us from going over there too. Austria, Belgium, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland all have been banned. Interesting. That sounds like a lot of Jewish nations. That's where the Jews come from. You ask white people that are Jewish where they come from, they're going to tell you Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Hungary, Greece, Italy. Where the Roman Catholic Church at? Italy. Where the people that killed Christ at? Italy. Where they getting hit the worst? Italy. Judgment. I ain't seen no black Italians getting killed. Judgment. Now, even in the state of Georgia, every state, their states are rapidly trying to get some of that money. Let me get some of that money. Let me get some of that money. And if you can get some of the money too, you should probably try to get some money too. Be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. The money's coming. According to the AJC, with the state of emergency, Governor Brian Kemp declared public health emergency Saturday, today, and stated he'll use broad powers under the law to let the state deploy all available resources. So what are the state's resources? Anything that's available. It means your stuff is a resource. To help contain the spread of coronavirus, the decision gave Kemp new ability to suspend laws and regulations. He could say, I know the law says I can't just kill you, but hey, suspend it, it's emergency. And regulations take direct operational control. Just like Maisha said, like the purge, literally. Purge, it was the last purge they did, purge election year. Interesting. They had those candidates. You might want to go back and watch that again. Purge election year.
Yeah, why that?
Right? Why the last one was election year? They read election year. All right? Can take direct operational control of civil forces, not government forces. Civil forces, you civil, peaceful forces, and mandate evacuations if he deems it necessary to cope with an outbreak that sickened at least 64 in Georgia. Sickened at least 64 and killed 1. The number is now 66 in Georgia. So if you take one lonely straggler, who knows how long he's been dead? He might have been dead. They just got to him. One straggling death out of 66 as of before the class started. That's a 1.5% death rate. 1.5% of the sickest of the sick people who tested positive died. But you shutting down, all the schools are shut down. The colleges are shut down. And you know when they messing with gambling money, ain't no NBA, so ain't nobody gambling. Ain't no Final Four, what happened to the brackets? All that is stopped. Ain't nobody going out to flights, travel. You can't go nowhere, and if you could go somewhere, you don't want to go nowhere. Quarantining people. The Catholic Church canceled their mass. When have you seen that? If anybody who's older than me or younger than me that knows when this has happened, can anybody tell me the last time all of this happened without somebody blowing up or a bomb or a hurricane, just because, you know, SARS, they didn't do that. Good sis, that's another one good to watch. There's another one called Contagion.
Contagion.
That was a great, they canceled that one. That one was too real. And they shot it here in Georgia. That was the one where you had the black police officer and the white guy who got, man, these are good movies. They're showing you what time it is. They're telling you what is happening. So they're shutting down all these things. The churches are shutting down. Even Hebrews, that's the saddest thing I've ever saw. Even Hebrews shutting down. Now, why they shut down, I don't know. I didn't see the explanation. But sad part about it is, man, you can't even keep the Shabbat, bro. Not for one day. You want the protection the other 6 days of the week, so you won't sacrifice one day so you can protect the other 6 days?
Because you're going to leave your house.
Bro, you're going to have to leave.
You're going to leave your house for something.
You already exposed to coronavirus. It's already out. If you was, do you have diabetes? I don't know. If you had diabetes and you the moray, I can understand. I'm sorry. But if you say that you a healthy adult, you ain't even had a cold, but you gonna show people, let fear win for something that has 2.5% worldwide, 1.5% in Georgia. So Containment was the movie. Okay, not Containment, Containment. That's what they shot here. Todah says. That was a great series. I loved it. The writing on that was amazing. It was too real. They said, nah, you gave too much game. And where the CDC headquartered at, by the way?
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta. Interesting. World War Z, injecting himself with a virus, all this stuff. These movies are telling you, and listen, you don't know what's going to happen with this new virus that they're going to put a virus in you to stop that virus. This could literally create The Walking Dead. Now you got 5G controlling you and doing all type of stuff. What is this?
What's that show we were just watching with the season 2 when the virus going and then it changes who they are? Like, is there
V-Wars.
V-Wars.
V-Wars is another good one. A virus. Another good one is they got an actual documentary about pandemic. That's on there too. It's a whole season. It's called Pandemic. And you can look at these things, not to be afraid, but just to see, be wise as a serpent.
Just learn something from it.
Be wise as a serpent. See how these colonizers move, man. Be wise. And that's why you go look at the news overseas. A lot of this stuff is BBC, RT, Reuters, all these. Go to these different sites because they're gonna be independent of this. Even though they're part of it, they're gonna give you a little bit more information. So you can see how the snake is moving. So you can watch them slither. At the end of the day, you can't save yourself. Y'all gotta save you. But educate yourself. Be prepared. And more importantly, we're going to have offline discussions of what we are going to do amongst us and our emergency planning. But you all in your families need to have emergency planning. If they quarantine you, how long are you going to stay in your house? What happens when you run out of food? Where are you going to go? When you got to run, when they're killing folks, where are you going to run? Where are you supposed to be? What are you not supposed to do? How are you going to communicate with no cell phones? How are you going to write messages that people can read in that language? How are you going to do? What are you going to do? What does the scriptures tell you to do? You might want to get in there and read, go over the classes, find out what's coming next. Prepare so that you can do the best you can, so that you can show the Father that I want your mercy because I did the best I could, y'all. Because that's what he said, with all your mind, all your heart, all your strength, all your spirit. And by all means, do not transgress y'all's weightier matters out of fear. You're not showing him that you have faith in him if you're moving in the spirit of fear. I didn't say move in the spirit of being a fool. Be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. So that's all we're going to do today. If we have any last questions or comments, I'm going to try to go through them. Sis, if you see any questions or anything, we'll try to address them.
I know Sister LaRonda asked, we'll talk to her afterwards. She was asking some questions about Passover.
Okay.
But I didn't know.
And of course, questions we answer, we want to answer with some facts, with some scripture. If you need to know, with your specific city, what's going on, go to your local newspaper online, and it's going to be head news. It's going to tell you what's going on. The dreams of Ezekiel's wheel, you got all kind of deep stuff going on right now, man. And that means that these wheels are going to be out here, and they in Operation what's the name of it? Blue Beam, Operation Blue Beam. If you can find anything on that, look that up. That's when they're gonna start doing those signs. That's what we talked about in Revelation
making
13.
it look like
They gonna make it look like Ezekiel's wheel coming down, taking people up. And you know what scriptures say? The first people taken up, that ain't a good thing. It ain't a good thing to be taken up anyway, because it talks about how we gotta make it through this great tribulation. If you sit here waiting on a spaceship to come zap you up, good luck with that. Because that's not what that ain't happening to the children of Israel, not as a whole. There's certain individuals taking up, but they ain't take up the whole children of Israel. Operation Blue Beam, that's a good one. King Alfred plan, that's another good one. That talks about how they literally trying to kill off all the black people. These are all good things that you need to look up.
Somebody did ask, can you talk about the Passover? Somebody else.
Okay, so the Passover, the Pesach. Let's just get into it. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12. Shema chapter 12. Alright, so what happened with Passover, they killed the firstborn of everything in the land, except for the children of Israel, since they wouldn't free us. And we said, on the 14th day, in between evenings, and if you go look at in 14th day, it's the Hebrew word is bain, which means between the evenings. You're supposed to kill the Passover lamb. So that means on Abib, day 14, in the daytime portion, when you're getting ready to end the day. That means after 3 p.m. as the sun is starting to go down. Even is about, halfway in between. Evening is 2 evenings. It's more. So in the evening, there's 2 evenings where the sun is down, and then you have after, where you have after the sun is down and it's grown to complete darkness. When you have complete darkness, that's the beginning of the new day. So we're at the portion of after even it's growing to complete darkness. That's Genesis 15:14, when it said, as the sun was going down. That's where we are in the 6th day. So, on that 14th, you kill that Passover lamb. When it becomes dark, it becomes the 15th. On the 15th at night is when you eat the Passover. Now, this is what was done when we were in the land. We could only kill a Passover lamb and do that sacrifice and an offering in the land, in the temple, under the Aaronic priesthood. We don't have the Levites. We don't have the temple. We don't even have the Isaac. How do you know we have to memorialize it? Because you're going to go down and read that. It says we're supposed to observe and memorialize this thing. Let's do Exodus chapter 12, and let's start at verse 23.
The Egyptians, and when he sees the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 side posts, Yahweh will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you.
All right, so again, on the 14th, in the evening, is when you can kill the Passover. So towards the end of the 14th day, after about 3 p.m., is when you tells you when you can actually hit in Egypt. All right, we don't do this. Put it on the 2 sides of the lintel. The 2 sides, the Spirit tells me the 2 sides represent the Old and the New Testament. You're putting the blood, you're being covered under the blood, which is the word of Yah, the Spirit of Yah, which is his son, Shiach. The blood represents those 2 testimonies, those 2 witnesses, the Old Testament, the New Testament, the New Covenant, the Old Covenant, all that. That's what that's representing. You're covered under that because it's over the doorposts and sides. And when you do that, that's what we were supposed to do in the land. All right, now we're in Egypt doing this. But this ordinance is for us to do when we go come back. Just like we read in Genesis 40, in Jubilees 49. The man that is close and can come, and he has to come up and do his offering. If you way over there in Italy, you can't expect somebody to come down for that. They can't keep the Passover like that. They still have to observe it. Go ahead.
And you shall observe this thing for an ordinance to you and to your sons forever.
So you observe this thing. We observe the holy day. We can't keep the holy day and actually do the blood sacrifice. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass when you become to the land which Yahweh will give you, according as he has promised, that you shall keep this service.
When you come into the land, you're going to keep the service. The service is the actual killing of the lamb and the blood. But what are we supposed to do? Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean you by this service? That you shall say, it is the sacrifice of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Yasharah and Mizraim, when he smote the Mizrites and delivered our houses, and the people bowed their head and worshipped.
So this is to remind our children. Now, this physical ordinance right here was when we were in our land. This is prior to Mashiach coming and being sacrificed. Which means we walk in obedience. We observe his days. This means, this is Yah's Pesach. When he passed over our land to Passover. Just like he's going to do to us right now. When people are dying, he's letting it pass over us. Go ahead. Verse 28.
And the children of Yasharah went away and did as Yahweh had commanded Moshe and Aaron, so did they.
All right. So that's how we keep the Passover. Now again, we don't kill lambs. If you going out there to go kill the lamb for Passover, to offer it as an offering, that's transgression. You can't, that lamb ain't going to be more perfect than Yahshua. And then on top of that, you have to follow all the laws pertaining to that. He who's under the law has the duty to keep all the law. All the law means you got to do those animal sacrifices. You don't got Mashiach as grace. Okay, then you got to do all the laws. Go in there into the temple, sacrifice that lamb by the high priest of the sons of Levi. Oh, wait a minute. You don't know where they at. So you can't lawfully do it. What happens when Saul tried to do that sacrifice? King Saul, when he tried to do sacrifice, what happened? Exodus 12.
Exodus 12.
Right. When Saul tried to, Exodus 20 is I believe that's the Ten Commandments. All right, so when he did those sacrifices, Yah punished him. He wasn't supposed to be sacrificing. Yah told him wait and let Shem. If we don't want to wait to go back into the land and have the high priest return so he can do sacrifices through his servants, the sons of Zadok, then you're going to get the same punishment. So Exodus chapter 12 shows us that we have to teach our children what Yah did for us. He killed all those people, all the firstborn, so that they would free us out of our captivity. And furthermore, he sent his son in the likeness of sinful flesh to go ahead and die and be a perfect offering for us so we can receive grace until he returns. That's the Passover. And what we read in Jubilees chapter 49, he said, if you keep the Passover, then you will be free from plagues and being smited and killed by that plague for the rest of the year. He didn't say plagues. So if you don't keep the Pesach, you don't observe the Pesach, and when Moses says gather, there's no guarantee that the plagues that are coming are not. Anything else?
I think that was it.
All right. So that's all we're going to do today. We'll probably, we'll, as we monitor stuff, somebody from, our assembly will likely be going on. Sister Tafara, she goes on quite a bit. She's been my partner in this since the beginning. We've been looking at these stats, and she's been sending me stuff, and we present it to the people we work as a team, as well as, the rest of my brothers. And praise y'all for the elders that have prepped us for a lot of these things coming, big congregations, to prepare us for this time. Again, we're not saying the world going to end tomorrow. We're saying look at what's going on. They have the authority to do all these things, and don't let people make you afraid to keep the commandments. And that's the main precept. Have faith and believe what is coming our way is going to happen, because Yah's word says it's going to happen. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, and just try to change your mindset. It's time that you utilize this grace and mercy to change your lifestyle. Stop trying to straddle the fence. Stop trying to have a little bit, save some for later. Trying to hide some of that worldliness under your bed.
Right.
Get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, if anybody lived it up, it was me. And I'm telling you, I'm not missing nothing in the world. This is the things of the old. I'm renewed. I can't do the same things and expect the same vibe and expect the same fun or
Exactly.
some sort of satisfaction from worldly things after you reveal all this information and realize how much wickedness it is. You need to protect yourself, protect your physical, protect your spiritual, protect your mental, and then be an example to your children. Because if you are in this word and you know it, but you letting your kids do what they want to do because you just want to really have to start, and it's not gonna be no in between anymore. Because see that path is narrow. It's very narrow. You don't have room to think twice sometimes. Sometimes, like with me, you just gotta follow what and then learn along the way. Don't even get caught trying to overthink and overanalyze when you get into this word. You need to just be disciplined, and then it'll resonate with you. Sometimes that's the safest thing to do. Is we don't always have to understand everything, but if we know it's right, we got first and second witnesses or more, then change it up. And then I always say, well, my mom always said, you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've always been getting. Right. Nobody's going to feel sorry for anybody who's been told over and over and over, warned. Then it's going to get to a point where go ahead and be the front line of ignorance. Go ahead and let the prophecy be fulfilled. You want to stay in darkness, you need to stay in darkness, because then we're going to be moving forward with people that's cooperating.
Right.
I can't force anybody for righteousness,
right.
or you can't either. So take this time in your life to really evaluate what's important, because if you don't, so that I can get salvation, my number's gonna go up. Trying to analyze and debunk and be skeptical all the time. If it's not clear to you now, it ain't gonna never be clear.
Right. And ultimately, this is your time to check your leaders. Look at your leaders.
Yeah.
Are they gonna walk what they talk? Are they even teaching you what's gonna happen? According to the scriptures, they can't teach it to you if they don't know, and they definitely can't teach it to you if they don't believe. So start checking the temperature of your leaders, your teachers and your mores and your elders and your big brothers and big sisters, and see, are they walking the stuff that I got people coming in and out all day long, and I can just do reasonable stuff. You coughing, I'll roll the window down. You know what I'm saying? And I make sure I got these Clorox wipes to wipe everything. And you ain't sitting in the front seat, bro. You know what I'm saying? And my kids got to go in that car. So I got to wipe it down and I'm going to go out speaking his truth. And I know that through the example of Mashiach, I'm going to be raised from the dead. And I could be found righteous if I really put my whole heart into it. So we got to be, as people that are in the front, and educate your people. Don't just take advantage of, trying to get attention. Oh, I'm riding around with a mask. I got a gas mask on. You got gas masks too. But I'm not riding around with a gas mask to show everybody, just to get a bunch of likes, and you trying to make jokes and all this stuff because you trying to, put the next funny meme out for this. Listen, man, educate your, and don't stop telling everybody your left hand what your right hand is doing. You know what I'm saying? Educate the stuff that is common general knowledge, and you make sure you get with your family, your crew, your people, and these many sects that we have, and figure it out. And leaders, be ready. That vaccine, everybody, this is exactly what's going to happen, and it happened. And that's the devil trying to do the same thing. Didn't I tell the elite we're going to do this in this movie? My people saw the signs. They saw the sixes, and they saw the triangles and the all seen. They saw, so they know this is a message. Just like they saw the Simpsons, they know this is a message. And you saw that thing of the Simpsons, how Trump died in the Simpsons.
Did you see the video how the Simpsons and how they was talking about the coronavirus?
It's deeper. Yeah. It's way deeper than you thinking that the president is controlling things. Yeah. He's the figurehead. They put a jest. Everybody, look at this while they over there murdering and slaughtering. Pay attention to where this judgment is coming at. A lot of this is happening in these same places that had us captive. And look who got hit the worst and first, China. China is breaking the hell out of Africa right now. They mistreating Africans, and they putting these loans. They built that railway over there in Europe too, so they own Europe. China about to take over, and China is the only to whitewash, to kill people. That's how Asians started getting real light skin when it used to be melanin people. They had melanin because their hair is black. So what happened to their skin color? White people don't have black hair. Light-skinned people don't have black hair. These people got this because Genghis Khan and all this, which is a Mongol, which is mixed. When you line people up, if you're over a certain height, it cuts your head off. That's how you got rid of the bloodline. If you're a certain skin color, they killed you. This is what they did in Cuba. This is what they did all kind of places. They did that in Egypt, killing the firstborns. They're trying to stop the bloodline. And as we read it in Psalms 83, one consent to cut you. As new information comes, to give out as much information as possible. Great ideas of what we can do to solve this problem and how to get out of here, how to come together, how to be prepared, or resources. Send us a message. Email us. Facebook. Send it on. Notice how it's hot all of a sudden? Warm. It's hot. All brothers remove their head coverings. All sisters pray with their heads covered, and we face the east temple in Hamashiach shall return.
Father, YAH, all in the Bible, him, Ishaq, and the code. We thank you, Father, YAH, for allowing us to see another one of your holy Shabbats, even amidst all the chaos in the world right now. We ask you, Father, YAH, we ask, Father, YAH, to protect all those who are, who you've chosen, Father, YAH, and those who are seeking you sincerely, Father, YAH, and you protect them from all the mayhem and disease and deception that's going around, Father God. And we ask that you help us. Not only do we ask you to sanctify those you've chosen, but we ask you to help us sanctify you in our hearts, Father God, as well. And we ask that you help us cleave to you, so that your hedge of protection may be about us, Father God. And help us keep our eyes and ears open, Father God.